Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman. I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help contractors build great teams. I have as my guest this afternoon, Max Lundquist from Attractive Media. I think that's an interesting name. So you're a partner of the company. Max, tell a little about what Attractive Media does and why they're different than other marketing companies.
Yeah, of course, Paul. I'd be happy to. I appreciate you having me on today. And so we were what you could consider a traditional web development and digital marketing agency, and we had done custom web development for several companies over the years, spanning pretty much every industry there is. There wasn't a lot of consistency with the work that we were doing, except for if the client liked us and we liked them, then we move forward. And we found that there was a lot of chaos that was created in doing fully custom projects. And so we wanted to try and find something that we could build a model for and then really get very good in that specific niche. And as we were thinking about that, we really wanted to get into the home building market, but being that I would consider it a somewhat saturated market, being that there's a lot of digital marketing agencies, web development companies. It's a very, very big thing that's growing, especially since 2020. Like we wanted to try and come up with something with an offer that really would disrupt the market and the industry as a whole. And so we put together something that focused specifically on getting home builders and service providers 5 new clients, whether it be home build or a remodeling job or something that's important for them. The idea was that with the investment that they were going to make with us, the 5 clients that they were going to get would 10, 15x the total amount invested, whether to get started or upon
Right.
completion of the guarantee. And so we put our money where our mouth is. And so part of any person that comes on with us is that if that doesn't take place, right? If you decide to work with us and we don't deliver, right, and you don't get 5 new clients or 7 or 10 or 4 or whatever the type of jobs may be, it differentiates slightly between each client, but 5 is typically the standard that we try to. Then we reimburse every penny that was spent with us to get started, and we offer our services for an additional 90 days for free. So
So
it would take place
I,
in.
So Max, I've been in this industry for God knows 50 years. I'm an old guy. I've never heard a marketing agency offer that ever. I've heard the 1 free month, try us for a month and see if you like us. Maybe we'll give you a free analysis of your business. We'll do an in-depth study, which may take a couple, 3 hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours to show you what you need to do. I have never heard anybody say that I will give you our services for like 6 months. If we don't produce 4, or if I guess in the case 5 home builds, we'll give you all your money back. Let's work for 3 months. That's amazing. I mean, I certainly hope it works for you because I've heard nobody ever offer that ever, right? So I think that's an outstanding offer. So you must have a lot of faith in what you do, Max, because that's putting it all your money where your mouth is, so to speak.
Mhm.
So what has given you that confidence to offer that kind of a guarantee?
Well, I'd have to say that that's a good question, Paul. I would have to say it has to do with my partners that I work with. I had a sales background before I joined Attractive Media, and so I've been kind of brought on as more of the face of the company, the outward facing partner. I talk with most of the new clients, and so I have one of my partners, Jesse Messenger, who is in charge, who is our creative director. He's also the CEO, but he handles all the development work for websites, for marketing, for anything that needs to get done when it comes to coding, building sites, and all of that stuff. He's been doing it for 15 years, and when him and I met, that was kind of what started the conversation, being that we were in a similar type space, and then he invited me to work with them, and I have never met someone who's willing to go as far and sacrifice so much for the quality of what he does, as opposed to whatever the pain associated with making that product is. So there's several examples I could share about times where maybe we quoted out a project, and if we're talking about hourly and stuff like that, we don't really do hourly, but it would kind of be like we'd give a quote, and then we'd move forward if the client accepted that, and we'd do half up front and typically like half in the end. And a lot of the projects were websites, and this is a guy who maybe for the payment, it would have made sense to spend like 40 hours doing it, right? For the price that we quoted it at. But here's someone that would do 100, 150, 200 hours worth of work without asking for a penny more, just to ensure that it was done right and that the business was represented not only how the client wanted, but how it would be best received from a marketing perspective of the potential clients that they wanted to attract. And so not only when it comes to web development do we have a lot of experience, but in all different forms of marketing and growing your brand online, it's just what I love. That's really what it comes down to. I think the confidence piece is the fact that we're constantly looking for innovative new ways to experience the market, to create unique experiences for people interested in what you may have to offer, and how to get you, right, as the home builder, service provider, and doing what you do in front of the right people that you want to work with, and how to do that more effectively, more efficiently, and quicker, right? You could say.
So there's a lot of change in industry. I mean, I've been in this industry for 50 years. I literally, when I started, they were getting pagers when pagers first came out. That tells you how old I am, right? And then they went through like cell phones where it served their time in the truck. And then we went through like websites were a waste of time, and email was a fad. And we've been progressing through this for years and years. And now there's project management software, and now AI is the new thing, right? I'd say half the guys I talk to say, what is ChatGPT? It's sort of scary to me, but they say. So the question, one thing comes up, there's a whole thing between SEO, right? Which is search engine optimization, and pay-per-click. And what percentage of your budget you should spend if you're, I'm going to give an average. You're $5 million construction. That's pretty typical for home builders. How much should he spend on marketing? How much should he spend on SEO versus, pay-per-click and Google and all that? And also, is AI a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, I've heard that AI is going to save the planet. Somebody else, AI is going to destroy us all. So it depends on how you look at it.
Probably both.
The other thing is, it's sort of like it's abortion. There's nobody's in the middle. It's like a huge political issue, right? And the other thing is that, does Google like AI? Do they hate AI? If I use AI to generate stuff, is it going to kill me in Google, or is it going to make me a hero? So I'd ask you the 3 questions: SEO versus pay-per-click. What kind of marketing budget should a $5 million home building company have? And is AI a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that's a really good question. My initial reaction is to ask 15 questions of their own to really understand more about what that company. And so I'm going to make a couple assumptions here for the sake of the question, so that I'm not going to go 10 minutes into finding out more why you want to work with us to begin with, why you're even open to it. But if we were brought on by a company that was doing about 5 million, the first most important thing would be to analyze their current website, and to see if it's conversion optimized, meaning that if it was built in a way with conversions in mind, meaning prospects visiting the website, having a unique experience, the business is being set apart from other competitors and shown as a clear and obvious choice. That's like foundational. If you don't have a site that does that, any effort when it comes to pay-per-click, when it comes to like SEO, or even social media marketing through Meta platforms, or even programmatic display advertising and geofencing, like all of those are going to be significantly weaker because your website isn't optimized to receive that, right? Because I mean, essentially, when you're doing pay-per-click advertising, you're showing up in front of people, right? And then people will click on your link. They'll go to your site or to a specific landing page that you've set up for that specific ad sequence, and then they'll decide whether or not they want to work with you. Now, if your site isn't very good and there's not a lot that's really showcasing, right? And maybe there's a specific thing that's putting people off about your site, you're essentially paying for advertising for one of your competitors, right? Because they're not going to choose to work with you, and so who are they going to work with? Whoever's next, right? Or whoever has a little bit more, or maybe someone that was recommended to them. Like, it doesn't mean that your website has to be bad. It could be good, but the idea is that if there's nothing that's really setting you apart, that's making that decision extremely easy for the prospect, it's not a decision that you're going to be able to count on. And if you're frustrated because you're throwing money at the wall, you're throwing money at these different campaigns, and it's not converting the way that you want, the first question is to, okay, well, what's the website look like? Let's go from there. Now, once that's been established, whether that's something that needs to be redone, or if it has been redone and it's in a good spot, then the next step would be to talk about what the goal of the business is in identifying, like, what are they hoping to get from this campaign, right? If you're a $5 million firm, I mean, you could be doing 8 home
Well,
builds
let's
a
say
year.
you're
You could be
doing,
doing 12.
like 8 houses a year, and you want to
Okay,
get, from your website, you'd like to get 5 or 6 build, a build a month would be great, right?
perfect,
For a couple,
perfect. That's
and that's
pretty reasonable.
right.
That's reasonable. And so what that might look like would be, I mean, sorry, before I jump into it, just a brief disclaimer on SEO versus PPC. SEO is more of something that you do to build the longevity and reputation of your business over a long time, and how it's in reputation with the search engines. So SEO isn't something that's really going to yield results very quickly, but it is something that you get to keep forever. So think of it more of like a long-term. I would say I would put a smaller portion of the budget, whatever you're interested in investing in your business, as like a long-term option. That's where SEO, I would say, differs than PPC. PPC is all about getting in front of people that are trying to make that decision right now. And based on how many businesses are competing for those kind of clients, prospects.
I would say, if you're in a service business, PPC makes a lot more sense because the sales is lower. But if you're going to sell, people are going to, let's buy an $800,000 home today and just make the decision, let's go buy it. It's not like my air conditioner bill, right?
Nope. No, it's different. It's a different kind of sale. And so that's why we incorporate a strategy that involves multiple different channels of marketing, whether it be like one of the deliverables, excuse me, that we've established in this offer is a seminar/webinar pitch deck that we've designed, that we've created with all the content that one might need to talk to someone has no idea about building their home, that they could offer as a value add. And in addition to that, we have a lead magnet, which is a guide that we've also developed that we give to our clients. And obviously, by the time it gets to them, it's been completely branded for their business. It's not coming from Attractive Media. It's not Attractive Media, the guide. It's that business's guide, right? And we're not taking credit for any of that in the sense of, like, from the client's point of view. Like, it's all coming from the business specifically. And I think it's something that with home builds, right? It's a lot about timing. It's about getting in front of the right people at the right time. Like, if you and I were to have had a conversation in January, and you were to ask Max, like, are you planning on buying a home in the next 6 months? And I'm talking like the previous January 2023. So just after 2022, I was recently married about 4 months and 5 months, and my wife and I were planning on moving across the country to Georgia for a job that I had over the summer. I'd been moving out to Georgia consistently, and so I wasn't necessarily planning on setting roots. And so my wife and I had a buddy who's a real estate agent. We went to like a first-time home buying class, right, in January, because I wanted to support him. And we learned a lot of really good things about buying homes. We live in Utah, and about the market, and give or take a couple different things. Now, fast forward 6 months, I end up not doing this job, and things end up changing. We end up deciding to plant roots in Utah, and we bought a house in Springville, just south of Provo, about an hour south of Salt Lake area. And for me, if the class that I went to had done a better job of brand recognition, a better job of making me as the potential buyer, because I mean, maybe I wasn't going to buy then, but yeah, it was my goal to buy a house, then they could have had my business. But instead, right, I ended up going with a different company, a different realtor that I had more trust with, because of he was referred over to us by my parents and stuff. And so now, not to say that even if they had done it right, I would have gone with them as opposed to this guy. But what I mean is that even when it doesn't seem like that person is at all in the process of making the decision, it might very well be that it's just around the corner. Live things change constantly. People lose jobs, they get new jobs. they make a ton of money really quickly, or they don't, they have something blow up on social media overnight and then boom, they're like famous,
Right.
or you go on a reality TV show and something happens. It's like people's lives change constantly. And so being in front of the people that are going to respect your business, that are going to move forward in a way, and your business is presented in a way that it makes it obvious that they should work with you.
Mhm.
That's really what it comes down to. And so it may not necessarily, it may be PPC, like more of a like upfront, more aggressive. The more that you want to put into your budget into PPC, that's more aggressive. It means that you're likely to get more results quicker. Obviously, disclaimer being that the website has to be conversion optimized first,
Yep.
or at least have a landing page set up specifically for that ad,
Right.
because if not, then it's going to be a lot harder to gauge
Right.
people's interest in the ad's efficacy if where they're going
Mhm.
doesn't stand out, right?
Cool. So have you had a successful example you could give me of somebody who've actually delivered on?
That is a great question. Um, we I can't give you a home builder right now because this is a program that we're relatively in the early stages of for all the companies that we're working with. I think there's only like 2 or 3 companies that have come on with us to do this that we're about a month in so far. And so
Right.
if you wanted to schedule another call for 6 months from now, I can let you
So
know.
tell
But
me about, you obviously had, if you have this confidence, you've had success with home
yes,
builders and
yeah,
companies. So give
yep.
me an example of some people that you produce results for.
Sure. So we one of the companies that's near and dear to us is, so my partners live in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, and there's a local boutique shop that's run by one of his friends called Faded Lace Boutique. And it's a really cool little boutique shop, mainly for women, right? Customized for women and stuff. And so we were responsible for building the website, which you can view on fadedlace.net. That's the URL. Now, for all of the home builders and service professionals, I don't know if the website is necessarily structured marketing for them, right? Because it's
Right.
kind of girly. You have the kind of this vibe, but that was the immediate one that I thought of because we've run a ton of social media marketing campaigns, Google pay-per-click. You'll notice at the beginning, at the top of the website, there are a few digital billboards that we created for her that were being presented near the location locally there in Pennsylvania. And then she also has an online store. And so we ran a campaign for Valentine's Day. We ran a campaign for Mother's Day that was really successful. This is someone who she has these products, this jewelry that she'd bring to festivals or concerts, right? She would
Mhm.
travel around the Southeast, right? Like Florida down and through Georgia and up again the East Coast. And now she has this location in store, and it's done extremely well. And we're very, very proud of the work that we've done. Like, we know that we have the capability to do it. Obviously, with this offer specifically, it's going to push us. It's going to push us a lot. And
That's
it's going
good.
to
Well,
mean probably,
it's a little bit in
you know,
beta, but I advertise, if you're listening to this podcast and you're a home builder or a remote, this is a deal I've never heard before. So if you're not happy with your marketing company and I never heard a marketing company guarantee anything other than we'll try hard. So I would give Max a call and he can actually, if he's going to do this, you're crazy not to do it because it's a guarantee, which I've never seen in marketing before. So I would suggest if you, Max, how do they get a hold of you?
that's a good question. So our website is attractive.media. As simple as that. That's the URL. And there's either a form that you can fill out if you wanted to share with us a little bit about your business, what you're wanting to accomplish. Most of our efforts have been in us researching home builders and reaching out to them, and then moving forward because they like you, Paul, hadn't heard of an offer like this and really wanted to
Right.
take advantage of it. And so um, that's a good way. As well as you're welcome to send me an email as well. My email is really hard to remember. It's just my first name, Max, at attractive.media, our website. And you're welcome to reach out to me to learn more about the offer. I'm typically available. I also have a calendar on our Attractive Media website, if they were to go to attractive.media/Max, that would show them my calendar, my availability, where they would be able to book a call directly
Great.
with me, and we could talk about it a little bit more and learn. I could learn more about what they're wanting to do. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that we're the best fit for everyone and what they're trying to accomplish. However,
You're obviously not
I'm
going to make
opening
that promise to somebody you don't think you can deliver for, right? I mean, they got to be a
100%.
company with a quality product, and I'm sure you're pretty heavy in the screening on the front end because you want to make sure you can deliver. So I'm sure you're picky about your clients, right?
We can be, but the idea is I'm open to meeting with anyone. I'm not going to turn anyone
Okay.
away. I'm open to meeting, and the idea is that, right, if we find that we're not a good fit by the end of the call, then we can stop there. Don't have to move forward, and we can still be friends, right? We can
Right.
we can move forward, and as long as that's the expectation that's set, then I have no problem taking 15-20 minutes or even longer, depending on questions and needs and concerns. Some calls have turned into a couple hours, right? And so it's more of finding out what the business wants to do and if we can help them accomplish their goals and visions. This is why I do this. I just love
This
dreaming.
comes under like an offer you can't refuse. So if you're interested in selling more homes, getting more and have it guaranteed, I think you should give Max a call. Max, I really appreciate being here. This is an amazing offer. I hope people take advantage of it.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I wasn't thinking that I'd be on a podcast this week talking about it. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm hopeful that anyone in your network or any of your clients that could really benefit from this, reach out to me, and I'm happy to meet with them and see if it could be a good fit.
Sounds great. Thanks, Max, for your time.
Yep.